Hello, this is Mr. Red Fox speaking. Welcome to the first video I made in a while, mostly because my time has been monopolized with trying to train new people, open up a new location, all that type of stuff. Training a manager, training new employees, hiring people, all that type of fun stuff. So, without much ado, this is my multi-part review for Rune Factory 5. Alright? So, this is Rune Factory 5. It's made by some of the original team that made Rune Factories 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you might ask, what is Rune Factory? Rune Factory, for those of you who are uninitiated, is Stardew Valley with a bigger budget and better graphics. That's it. Rune Factory was a Harvest Moon spinoff, where instead of your character just farming and mining and doing slice of life stuff, you actually play the part of this random character who is an earthmate who winds up living in a town, going into dungeons, fighting monsters, and also farming and mining and all that type of fun jazz. I've always been a huge Harvest Moon fan. I've always liked the franchise. But I thought the franchise started going down a little bit. And I was like, man, Harvest Moon would be great if only they spun it up and added combat and stuff like that. And they did with Rune Factory. Rune Factory was spun off into into a pretty successful series. Rune Factory 1, 2, 3, and 4. It always was kind of like a lower budget game, but I mean, graphically, it was still pretty darn good. So that's the introduction and overview. So, for the rest of the review, I will, for those of you who are new, we will break the review up into 3 sections: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good being what I like about Rune Factory 5, the bad being what I don't like about Rune Factory 5, and the ugly just being interesting little tidbits. So without much ado, let's get into it after the cut. So you might ask yourself, what is good about Rune Factory 5? Well, if Rune Factory 1, 2, 3, and 4 felt like they were Game Boy Advanced games, just really advanced Game Boy Advance 3DS games, which is what they were, Rune Factory 5 feels like they jumped onto the PS2 or an early PS3 game. So, you know, it's got a bigger budget, there's more stuff going on, etc., etc. Which is pretty cool. Combat has never been easier to get into, more dynamic. Traversing the game world has never been easier. Now, there are a few weird things about this game where I'm kind of like, that's weird. But I'm not going to get into that until the bad thing, until I get to the bad. So, yeah, this game is pretty well made. You know, if you compare it to the other games in the series, it's pretty well made. Now, the downside, I'll get to that in the next section. Combat is very dynamic. The character models range from being serviceable to really good. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the older MILFs in this game look hotter than some of the romantic characters they want you to hook up with for the bachelorettes. Like, the mayor of this town is hot as shit. The succubus is really freaking hot. Like, I'm like, why do these female characters look so damn hot? But aside from that, yeah, the game is game's pretty damn good. The game's pretty damn good. The music is pretty good, the characters are pretty good, the gameplay is pretty good, the story is pretty good. The fact that they have, you know, you can romance whomever the heck you want, no matter what your gender is pretty cool. Plus, you can recruit up to 3 other characters to join you in the fight. including a monster that you can befriend and get to join you. I mean, basically everything that was in the previous Rune Factory games, like all those additions that happened in four other games, have been added to this game. That's about it. And there's a lot of slice of life. There's a lot of lifestyle, like basic things they changed. Like you can warp from anywhere back home without using a special item. I don't think they had that in previous Rune Factory games. Like it's just a lot of stuff that makes this game easier to get into. It's designed to be easier to get into, and I think that's because this was designed primarily for the Switch, which is more of a handheld than it is a traditional console. So anyway, that's the good. Let's get to the bad after the cut. So we got to the good, now we got to get to the bad. This is surprisingly going to be kind of a short section because there's not a lot wrong with this game. Most of the issues with this game are small, minor inconveniences. For example, there's no jump button. Like, zero jump button. The entire game, like, you can run up the side of a building and run off the edge. I mean, not this, like a hill. You can run up the side of the hill and jump off the edge of the hill, and you take no fall damage. And yet, you can't jump, which is just weird. It's like a small, it's a small aside. When you're placing objects in your house, there's no real precision in putting it down, so like you can't, like, and I'm kind of OCD when it comes to decorating my house in Harvest Moon games. So it's like there's not a lot of precision if you're using console style controls. It's kind of, you know, it's one of those, oh, this is kind of weird. It's kind of expensive to expand your farms on your dragons, because basically the farm that you start out with, the little plot of land that you start out with, that's out in front of your little headquarters in the beginning of the game, you can never expand that. It kind of sucks. You have to wait until you go to you have to wait until you unlock the farm dragons, and then you have to expend these special crystals that you can either buy for exorbitant amounts of money or find by going to certain areas and just getting them over and over again, like you know, every day, because the treasures reset themselves every day, and basically just do that, which is just kind of like but that's a very minor thing. It's not major. It's minor. It's a very small inconvenience. But yeah, that's the bad about the game. It's the only real issue I really have. We'll get to the ugly after the cut. All right, here we go with the ugly. So, these are just little minor annoyances. My ugly thing about this game is that I find a lot of the romantic characters that you can, like only 2 or 3 of the romantic characters that you can hook up with, that you can pursue, I find physically attractive. The other characters, I'm like, you're kind of not attractive at all. But this is just a small minor pet peeve that I have. This isn't something that I would say, oh, well, this is just the way it is. That's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. So, yeah. I'll give my overall conclusion after the cut. Alright. So, time to wrap things up. So, in conclusion, this game is the 5th game in a long and storied series, and I like it. I think it's pretty darn good. It feels like a budget title because it is. You know, this is not a AAA title. I would say at the most it's AA. But they really used their budget wisely. Because, you know, if the next game in the Rune Factory series has, like, they take this as a template and they build upon it, maybe add multiple regions, and I don't mean like one region with multiple environments. I mean like literally multiple regions where, like, hey, you can go to this town and do this, and then there's another town over here where you can do this. That would make the game even more interesting. Aside from that, I mean, that's it. That's all I got to say. Overall, the game is pretty damn good. I definitely give my I give it my approval. If I had to give it a score, I would give it you know, a numerical score. I'd give it a B. You know, wait until it's on sale and then get it for, like, you know, a little less money than what it normally would be. But what you're getting is a very good game, especially if you're into Stardew Valley or the Harvest Moon titles. This game very much is like, you know, you're in for a treat. So, with that being said, that's the end of this video. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. If you would like to get in touch with the channel, I have a link in the description to my Discord and to the email for this official channel. With that being said, have a nice day and good night. Or good day, whatever time it is. Good night, good day, auf Wiedersehen, buenos noches, whatever. Peace.